Hi, I'm Miss Walker, and in this video, I'm going over week 3, Friday. It's Friday. It's Friday. It's the end of the week and the last day. Let y'all finish that on your own. All right, so I'm going over the Lone Star Daily Rigor, and this is what you guys will do every Friday to review your math skills. And in our classrooms, we use this as Tiger Prep to get the kids ready and get their minds focused on math. So in my classroom, before we do our Tiger Prep, I always start by going, "It's time for what?" And the kids go, "Tiger Prep." "It's time for what?" "Tiger Prep." "It's time for what?" "Tiger Prep." So we're going to go over this Tiger Prep together. And it's going to be a longer video just because there are so many questions on here and I do have to go through and explain them. So this will be part 1 and I will stop my timer at around 10 minutes to do part 2. So let's get started. On letter A, it says, find each sum. We underline sum and we put a plus sign because the sum is the answer to an addition problem. Or difference, we underline difference and we put a subtraction sign because the difference is the answer to a subtraction problem. So we know we've got to find each sum or difference. And I'm going to write this over here on the side so I have more room to write with this mouse pad. So we've got 112 plus 24. 4 plus 2 gives me 6. 2 plus 1 is 3. And 1 plus nothing leaves me with 1. So on the first one, the sum is 136. Moving on to the next one. We have 457 take away 23. So on this one, we're finding the difference. That means we've got to subtract. 7 take away 3 is 4. 5 take away 2 is 3. And 4 take away nothing is 4. So on this one, the difference is 434. On this next one, we are finding the sum. So we've got 205 plus 5. We start in our ones. We know 5 plus 5 is 10. This 0 goes to our ones place. And this 110 goes to our tens place. 1 plus nothing is 1. And 2 plus nothing is 2. The sum is 210. Whoa, never seen that before. Let's try that again. Okay. I'm not really sure what's going on with this. There we go. All right, on the next one. 302 take away 6. All right, start in my ones place. If I have 2, there's no way I can take away 6. There's more on the floor, so I've got to go next door, get 10 more. But there's a 0, so I've got to go next door again. So this 300s is now 200s. And we know 10 tens make up 100. So I've got to put my 10 tens in this tens place. But I remember I said I've got to go next door and get 10 more. So I've got to take 1 10 away. And 10 minus 1 is 9. And I know 10 ones make up a 10. So I got to put 10 ones over here. But 10 ones plus 2 ones is 12 ones. So I've got 12 in my ones place. Now I'm going to do 12 take away 6. That gives me 6 because 6 plus 6 is 12. 9 take away nothing leaves me with 9. And 2 take away nothing leaves me with 2. The difference is 296. All right. Moving on to letter B. It says compare using less than, greater than, or equal to. Now, in my classroom, when we compare numbers, we always start with the highest place value. You can rewrite the numbers and line them up vertically if you would like. 595, and 560. You can line them up vertically so it's easier to see. We've got the hundreds place here. We've got the tens place. And then we've got the ones place. We always start in our highest place value, which is the hundreds when we compare numbers. Now, in this case, it's the hundreds. It's not always the hundreds. So we look at these. We've got a 5 in the hundreds in both places. We have a 9 and we have a 6. We know that 9 is greater, so we know that the number 595 is greater than 560. So I put 2 dots by 595, and when I connect the dots, it's going to make a greater than sign. So on this one, I do have a greater than sign. Okay. On this next one, we have 1,095 and 1,095. I've also taught my students that you can just leave them like this as long as you start in your highest place value. So we've got the thousands place, both have a 1. The hundreds place have zeros. The tens place have 9s, and the ones place have 5s. So on this one, we know that these are equal. Moving on to the next one. We've got 1,155 and 1,160. The ones in the thousands place are the same. The ones in the hundreds places are the same. And then we've got a 5 and we've got a 6. We know 6 is greater than 5, so it'll get 2 dots over here and 1 over here. When we connect them, it's a less than sign. So when we read this problem, it is going to say 1,155 is less than 1,160. All right, moving on to this last problem. We've got 1,200 and 1,195. The ones in the thousands places are the same. We have a 2 in the hundreds and a 1 in the hundreds. 2 is greater than 1, so it is going to be a greater than sign. 1,200 is greater than 1,195, or 1,195 is less than 1,200. So you can read them forwards and backwards as we do in my classroom. I'm going to move on to letter D, because on C, I'm going to have to write those with the pen, and it'll erase after I've written on it. So here we go. Letter D. Circle the numbers that have a 1 in the tens place. So first of all, before I go through and try to do anything, I've got to figure out where my tens place is. And if you've been on my YouTube channel, you've seen the place value song. So I'm going to do the end part of it. We know we've got to start in the ones, which is all the way over here. And it goes ones, tens. So I'm going to underline all of the numbers in my tens place before I decide to circle anything. All right, so in my tens place, I have a 5 on this one, so that's not right. I have a 1 on this one, so I can circle this one. I have a 6, I have a 1, I have a 9. Okay. On this next one, it says circle the numbers that have a 1 in the hundreds place. This one has a 1 in the ones place, not in the hundreds place, so I've got to do my place value chant again to see where the hundreds place is. Ones, tens, hundreds. So I'm going to underline all my hundreds places. They try to trick you because they do have ones in the number. It's just not in the hundreds place. All right. So when I look at this, I've got an 8 here. Nope. 4. Nope. A 1. A 1. And a 6. That's not going to work for me. So I have circled the ones with the 1. All right. Now moving on to this last one. This one says circle the numbers that have a 1 in the thousands place. Okay, I'm going to find the thousands place. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. So there's the 1 in the thousands place. Oh, look at that. There's the thousands. Oh, this one has more digits. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousandths. All right. And now I'm going to circle the ones that have a 1 in the thousandths place. So this one, that's got a 6. Nope. That has a 0, 2, and then a 1. All right. And I'm going to erase this. Here we go. Sorry, bear with me on this new technology. All right, I'm going to do one more before I cut it off and do part 2. So here, we're going to do let's do number 1. It says, Jordan has 12 green apples. So I'm going to circle 12, and I'm going to underline green apples. And 12 red apples. If she gives 3 of her apples to Paul, how many apples will Jordan have? So I've read it once, but I need to go back and reread it. She's got 12 green apples. So I'm going to use green. I've got 12 green apples. And I've got 12 red apples. All right. So first of all, I know that I'm going to add those because I want to know how many total apples she has. 2 plus 2 is 4. And 1 plus 1 is 2. 24. But oh, look, they got 24 in the answers. I know that's not right. I'm going to cross that out. Nope. Not going to get me. All right. We've got 24 right now. Then it says that she gives 3 of them to Paul. So if you give 3 of them to somebody, that means that you're going to subtract. You're giving them something. So we were at 24, but she's going to give them away. So 24 take away 3. 4 take away 3 leaves me with 1. And 2 take away nothing leaves me with 2. So I know she's got 21 left. All right. That's the end of part 1. See you in part 2. Bye.